Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you guys are. I hope you're having a really, really, really good day. It is Sunday, and as Captain says, now that I'm live, he doesn't think his Sunday can get any better. Well, you could make it better by turning me off. That'd probably improve it a little bit, I think. But welcome to everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Kodo's got first today, saying 1. Congratulations. Anaki's always here as well. He says, evening Jay, hope you had a good weekend. I did. It was a productive weekend. I've thrown my back out again because I'm silly. But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing good other than that. So it's going to be an interesting one. What else have I been doing this weekend? So the reason why I throw my back out is because the wife made me renovate the spare bedroom and finish some stuff off in the bathroom that we started about 6 months ago. So I had to dismantle the old bed and build a new bed, and now I've got my sciatica playing up again, which is cool. It's fine. I'm doped up on painkillers. I'll be alright. I'll be fine. We'll make it through the stream, and then I'll probably just be in agony tomorrow morning. We'll see how that goes. Turning Jay on. Sus. Yeah, probably. Thank you, Coucher, for the subscription. He says, good evening. Thank you so much, man, for 4 months worth of subs. Right up there, one of the OGs. Sounds like a reason to not get old. Yeah, JQ, if I could not get old, I would absolutely do that. If I could stay young, if I could be Peter Pan, I would. Unfortunately, the ravages of time are catching up with me. And it's a bit brutal. It's a bit brutal. Yeah, it's not getting easier, let me put it that way. It's getting harder. Quadrum's here as well. Good evening. Thank you very much for being here, man. Capty says, turn off the stream. Never. I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing with you. Other soft drinks are available. There we go. No coffee today as well, so you might have mentioned or noticed that there's no coffee today. The reason for that is because Mel and I drank all the milk on Friday, so there's no milk at the workshop on a Sunday for me to make a coffee with, and I haven't nipped to the shop yet, so no latte today, which was really disappointing because I've been here about 4 hours tonight doing a few other bits and pieces. I had to prep some boxes and move some stuff around in the workshop ready for tomorrow because we think the Icky Aurora 68s are going to arrive Tuesday, Wednesday, potentially. So we're trying to clear up as much space as possible so that when they do arrive, we have the space for them. So yeah, that's coming this week. As well as that, we also have the JR1s to ship out. So that's going to be priority number 1 this week, shipping all of the JR1s out. So they're all ready to be packed up. They just need gaskets and bump-ons dropping in the boxes, and then they can be shipped. So that's all going to start from tomorrow morning, first thing on Monday. It contains 30 milligrams of caffeine per can. Great, I need like 10 cans then. Something like that. I like my coffee strong, so yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, so priority number 1 tomorrow morning is to set up all of the JR1s, get those packaged, get everything moving with those, get DHL booked in. There's another couple of hundred parcels just in the doorway that, in fact, I was about to upload an Insta story. I'll upload that now. You may have just caught the fact that I was looking at more cars on eBay. Right, Insta story is uploaded, or it's in the process of uploading. There we go. We'll leave that and let it go. Yeah, so JR1s tomorrow morning. We're going to put the gaskets in the box, the bump-ons in the box, and the mini 3D printed JR1s in the box, and then they're going to be labelled and sealed. And we're going to ship out as many as we can, as fast as we can. Hopefully we'll get them all out this week. I was going to do DHL, like a full big collection where they send an actual 7.5 ton lorry where they collect everything. But that needs to be on a pallet, and I don't have any pallets here at the minute, and I also don't have any of the big reels of saran wrap that you need to wrap them up as well. So we're going to have to do them individually, unless I can quickly, urgently tomorrow morning abscond some pallets from one of my neighbours. They may have some, usually they do, so maybe we'll try and do that. Arcane is here as well. He says, hi Jay, thanks very much for being here. And also, is it Steel Pigeon? Steel Pigeon, thanks very much, man. He says, first time catching one of your streams today. Thanks very much for being here, man. I appreciate it. Unusual is here as well. He says, evening. Hey, man. Good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, we're going to be building a Pneuma. I think it's pronounced Pneuma. It's got a silent P at the beginning. I don't know if it's Pneuma or Pneuma or Pneuma, but I'm going to call it the Pneuma. And that's what we're going to go with. So we're going to be building that today. It is one of the early private group buy stroke prototype runs that Steph Walters arranged. So I'll show you guys that. We'll build the board. We're going to be using some new switches today. We're going to be using these shrimp switches, which are pretty cool. They're a light to medium tactile. These are completely stock. I just don't have time to loop switches these days. Pneuma. Yeah, let's go with Pneuma, yeah. So we're going to go with these switches today. They are completely stock, unlubed, but they're tactile, so I think that's fine. Durox stabilizers, because they are the closest ones I have that match the switches. And then you guys will get to pick the keycaps at the end, which would be interesting. You think I'm pronouncing it right? Okay, I can pronounce it left if you like. Storesness, thank you so much for the subscription. Thank you, man. Thank you, appreciate that. This is the board that was supposed to go into group buy a while back, right? Yes, it was. The Pneuma was originally supposed to go into group buy, I think, in late 2020, and this private run actually ran in 2020. I think we paid for it around June, July, August, sometime like that last year, and it took quite a while for it to be produced. So I only got it about a month ago. You might have seen it on my Insta stories. So I finally got the board in, and this is when we're going to build it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Golden Ratio is here as well. He says, "Evening, Jay. Hey man, good to see you." Stosness on a 5-month streak. So I thought Karcher was one of the OGs at 4 months, but it looks like Stosness is there at 5 months. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I think you guys might be the first ones with the yellow badge. I think. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'll have to look at the badges. I can't remember which color order they go in. If they may collect Give the gift subs. I'll give you the dance. Am I making any other designs? Yeah, so I'm doing a black and white version of this, or grayscale version of it. And then I've got some other designs that I've come up with. One based around sugar skulls, if you guys are into Cinco de Mayo or anything like that. Yeah, stuff like that. I've got a few designs I'm working on for desk mats personally. So yeah, definitely keep checking them out. They'll be on the store. They'll be for sale with a few vendors worldwide. Like, there's nothing major, but yeah, they're just going to be a few designs that come out. Yeah, cool. Let's flip over the to the other camera. I'm trying to blackmail Nick. I don't know how much blackmail that's going on, but we'll see. There you go. You can kind of see it a little bit better. There's the fox. There's the moon. Some mountains. Some trees. A lake. It's just nice, right? It's nice. There is another big tree here. You can't really see it, but yeah, it's nice. Go look at it on the website. You'll see. Right. So let's talk switches. Today we're going to use shrimp switches. Why are we using shrimp switches? Because they're tactiles and I didn't have time to lube. And they're a new switch. So this is a shrimp switch. Kind of like a green crystal colour. They are tactile. There's not much pre-travel. They're kind of straight into the tactile event. Oh shit, he did it. He actually did it. Nick, first of all, thank you so much for the 25 gift subs, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 25 gift subs. Dude, like, I thought I'd given you a number that was not something that was going to happen. Holy fuck. Right, okay, I need to look up the Pneuma dance, and I will do it. Okay, let me look this up and see how it goes. Oh god, this is gonna get me banned because it's probably yeah. Like I might have to do the dance without the sound because I don't know if I can play the music. Okay, yeah, okay, I've got it here. Right, okay. If this gets me this video demonetized on Twitch or YouTube or whatever, Nick, I'm blaming you. But you did do what I asked you to do, so I'm gonna do it. Right, okay. Okay, let me pause it. Let me pause it. Right, you get the first verse. That's all you're getting. The first verse. I'm just funneling Jim Cable having the profits back into you. Yeah. I mean that's fine. That's fine. You can check the exclamation mark gear setup for the mic setup and everything else, Khalid. So yeah, you can check that out. Right, okay, so I'm gonna play this. If this gets demonetized because I've got it on, then I apologize. Let's flip back up the camera. Right, okay, I'm gonna watch this and try and recreate it as it happens. So Nick, I blame you for this. Right, there you go. That's all you're getting. I've done it. Done. No more. Any more and I'll probably get banned from Twitch. I can't believe I've been blackmailed now. Wow, there you go, Nick. I hope you enjoyed that. Right, back to the build. That's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done on stream for money. Wow. Right, okay. As I said, we're using shrimp switches. I don't know why they're called shrimp switches, but they're kind of like a medium tactile, I'd say. Very, very quick onto the tactile. Is it possible to cancel a multi-month subscription? Asking for a friend. No cancellations. You're in this for the long journey now. Very little pre-travel, and then it's straight into the tactile event. I don't feel like these are going to have much of a bottom out sound, but I might be wrong. They feel nice though. They feel nice. That's what we're going to be building with today. Oh god, I don't want to know where Nick's putting that clip now. I don't want to know where he's putting that. Stabilizers, we're going to use these. Thank you again to Leandro over at Mechanistic for sending me over a whole bunch of these. So these are the stabilizers we're going to use today. These are version 2 of the Direct stabilizers. Oh no. Oh no. Did you say clip? Oh no, I'm gonna have to play this. Is this really bad? Oh, it doesn't have audio, that's good. Unless it does have audio and I'm just missing it. Okay. Shrimp. Yeah, shrimp switches. They're in stock and on the store. You can go buy these. Shameful plug of the link. These are in stock. Boom. There you go. Buy them. Silent tactile. MX switch. 5-pin. Bottom out 67 grams. There you go. Silent tactile. They feel interesting. I think they're going to be okay. Let's say I just wanted something different for this build, and it's a silent tactile, which is probably the least the switch that needs the least amount of lubricant, right? So there we go. Oh no, don't, Nick, you've not told Ragan that I did that. No, Ragan, please don't watch that clip. Oh, I need to delete that clip now. Nick, what have you made me do? You are making me, you're pimping me out to myself, and I don't like it. Twice in one stream, so much chilling. Yeah, I know. Yeah. You're really off the line. Oh, great. Oh, great. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. I really do. Right. Kaja Hearts is laughing at me. Great. Thanks. Okay. It's on the internet forever now. That's fine. I've done more embarrassing things on Top Crack. That's fine. Golden Ratio, thank you very much for the 4 months of subs. He said that clip is going viral. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate the sub. And hey, well, you know, Nick, if you send it to me, I'll put it on Insta. How about that? Right. In terms of keycaps today, you guys are going to get to pick the keycaps later on. You're going to have a choice of a few. DCS Nightfall, GMK Dual Shot, GMK Shoko, GMK Olivia, and GMK Sky Dolch. Those are going to be your choices later on. Don't worry about it for now because we'll do a poll and you guys will be able to pick from a poll what you'd like to pick. That will be the swipe up story for the Pneuma group buy. It fits nicely. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, thanks guys. Okay, there it is. Why do I do these things to myself? Okay, let's talk about the keyboard now. So, here is the keyboard. This is as it got shipped to me. So you guys can see, I have opened it and looked at it, but you guys can see the unboxing experience. Just a standard plain box, that's all it was, with some stuff inside. First off, we get a nice little assembly note, which we'll take a look at in a second. We've got a moth in the box. Why is that playing? We've got a moth in the box. We have gaskets. These are cut gaskets, there we go. Oops. We have a PCB. This is the Pneuma, that's the text for Pneuma. And there's the designer, Steph. There we go. We have a daughter board. This is just a standard unified daughter board, so there we go. Avo, thank you so much for the follow, man. Appreciate that. Mighty Light as well, thank you very much for the follow there too. We have some screws and a little Allen key. Another daughter board. We'll only need one, so we'll put that to one side. Some, I assume these are going to be the feet. Some nice long strips for the feet. A JST cable. A secondary JST cable and a secondary PCB to put these to one side. So we can do another build later on. And then here we have the board itself. Jay, your office is so aesthetic. Thanks, man. I work hard on keeping it clean and tidy. I don't really. I just do nothing in it. But thank you, man. It took a while to get everything sorted in here, but it now feels more like a streaming setup. When I moved from my home setup to the workshop, the plan was always to do something in here, and it took me nearly a year to actually do something. So there we go. Neon Ninja says, I guess this is for a future group buy. Yeah, this is a prototype for what Steph may run as a future group buy. I'm not 100% certain if it's going to actually make it to group buy, because I think there was some problems and things he wanted to change. So I don't know how that's going to work. But here is the forward. Enemy's Friend also has one of these. He has a very, very nice one, actually. So here we go. This is the color of it. This color's pretty unique. It is a Cerakote finish. How nice is that, right? Base, I think, is this stainless steel, I think, if I remember rightly? I think it's steel on this one. Again, it's been that long since I bought into the group buy that I can't remember exactly what the makeup of the board is. But I feel like the bottom is stainless steel, and this is the Orchid Cerakoted finish, which is absolutely lovely. Carbon fiber plate, ISO, as you'd expect. So this is going to be really nice. So there we go. I have to remind myself on how to take the board apart, because there are no visible screws. I think we have to take the bottom plate off first, right? Again, I haven't looked at this board for like a year, so I can't recall exactly how it comes. So we undo those two screws. That takes off the back plate. And I believe, I feel like this is stainless steel. I might be wrong, but I feel like it's stainless steel. But this is basically a back plate, and it's just held on by two screws. You'll notice that we've still got a keyboard base in here, and I don't want to lose the screws when I turn it over, so I'm just going to be a little bit careful to do this. There we go. Pop these in here. And we still have the base inside there as well. So basically what you'll see is all of the screws are hidden through that mechanism. So we can take the rest of the screws out and then take a look at the rest of the board. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's stainless steel. It feels like it. It's like heavy enough to be stainless. Personally, I prefer to have not bump-ons, but like customized feet. So for all the boards I design and run, we use injection molded feet that are designed. They're called the Blackpool. They were designed in conjunction with James from AKB Keyboards, and we both use it on most of our designs. Oh gosh, that was a stiff screw. That did not want to come undone. Interesting to see your take on the slow rebounding gaskets. I mean, they're just foam, right? This is just a PE foam. I feel like it might be a little bit on the soft side for me, just from feeling it here, but we'll build it and we'll see. Okay, so there's 8 screws here to hold the case together. And you can see here, these 4 screws will hold the daughter board in place. Do you not have one of these space cables, Ragan? I thought you had one of these boards already. I don't know why, but I just had it in my head that you had one of these boards already. Okay, now this should all come out. I think there's one screw that's just slightly holding on here. Let's see if we can get this out. You're not pog enough. I'm not sure how I got invited to it either, to be honest. There we go. Okay, now we've done that, the top case should come off, he says. There we go. And this is where you can see so this is aluminium, this is really light, but it's this crushed orchid colour. This is really nice colour actually, this is an absolutely lovely colour. Pretty simple mount. Some slight scuffs on the inside. It is quite tight. It's going to be difficult to show you. Some slight scuffs there. That's just from me taking it apart and putting it back together. But they're going to be on the inside, so it's going to be no issue whatsoever. Cerakote's really even. Any discoloration is basically fingerprints. It's a really even coating. Very nice. Pretty happy with that. I want this board so bad. It sounds so good. Yeah, it probably was designed for anodization. Okay, here we see the plates. So, interesting fact, I actually helped Selvin arrange these, so he reached out to me and asked me to arrange these. So I got a load of these plates. He didn't tell me what board it was for, I just arranged what he asked me to arrange, sent them to him, and then one got sent back to me. So there we go. There we go. This is the ISO version of the plate, which is pretty cool. And then here we have the inside of the base. So you can see quite a few of the machine marks. I mean, this is going to be... you can see all the machine marks here. I mean, that's going to be the case because basically this is stainless steel and it's untreated as far as I'm aware. A few grease marks on it, but it's pretty nice. It's a pretty solid heft of metal is this. All the machining is lovely. All the machining is really nice. And you can see this groove is basically the alignment for the base piece, for the base plate, just to sit on it nicely. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, so first jobs first. It's time to put in the daughter board. Go with CF, please. Oh, we're building it with a CF plate, don't worry. That's the only plate I have for it anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to weigh it after we built it. If you want me to weigh it, I can do that at the end raid stream. So we're going to pop in the daughter board. And then, okay, so first thing I noticed is the daughter boards are really, really tight here. I might have to trim the daughter board to get this to sit inside. That's a really, really tight fit. Like that doesn't want to go in. Like it should sit this deep. You see I've got it on an angle, but it doesn't actually want to go in. I don't want to force it in either and break it. We might need to just get some flush cutters and just trim around the edges of so I'm just trying to score the edges of the corners, which is where it's getting stuck, just to take off a little bit of material. The daughter board does not go upside down. If the daughter board went upside down, you'd never get to the so it's fitting better now, but you can't get to the JST cable if you put it upside down. Like it's difficult to show you because of where the lights are, but you wouldn't be able to get to it upside down. And now it's stuck. There we go. So there we go. All we needed to do was just shave off those corners a little bit, so we just shave them down. That's now sitting in there nice and flush. It goes that way up. You can still get into the JST connector on the top, and the USB port is nicely aligned. So there we go. It'll be just tolerances on the daughter boards and on the case. I'd probably just make that 0.5 millimeter wider if that was me, but again, this is why we prototype, guys. This is why we prototype. Just going to tighten this down with the 4 screws. When you tighten stuff like this, don't over tighten. You're not trying to crush the circuit board, you're just trying to hold it in place. So it doesn't need to be overly tight. A little DIY on a $700 board. Yeah. Okay. There we go. How you doing anyway, Cohen? Good to see you, man. Not seen you in a while. Okay, so the daughter board's in. We've shaved off a little bit. We've got dust all over the place. Okay. We're done. Is there any significant difference between the sound profile of polycarbonate and FR4 plates? Yes, there's a big sound difference. Polycarbonate is a little bit softer material, and FR4 is quite firm and quite clacky. So yeah, there's a big sound difference between the two. Liking the desk mat. I wonder who designed it. I wonder. But thank you very much, man. Thank you. It's been selling quite well actually, so that's a big win. Okay, I'm going to plug the JST cable in now. And then it's in place, and we just need to do the other end later on. Okay, so that's now the internals of the case all done, and it sits on that base plate just like so. We still have the gaskets to put in, which we'll do towards the end of the stream, so we'll pop that there and pop the case on top. The reflection of the water is cool, right? It's so easy to do. It was like copy, reflect. And it took like 2 seconds to do. It was like copy just these elements, reflect, didn't copy the mountains as you can see, reflect, just rotated it 180 degrees, and then put a layer over the top to dim it. It was dead simple. Yeah. Well, actually, it's just a layer over the top, but yeah, nice and simple. I had this was the actual project that taught me how to use Illustrator. So I used designing a desk mat to teach me how to do Illustrator. Okay, we've got feet as well. We'll put the feet on at the end of the stream too. Okay. They say it takes. It was a little bit more than 2 seconds, but it wasn't a difficult process. Like originally, the mat didn't have this bit in here, didn't have the reflection of the trees in. It was literally just a blue bit here. It was just this blue color, this blue-green color. It was just that all across. It was solid, and it was kind of like a last-minute decision to do that. So there we go. Right. These are the instructions we get. I'm going to read these out to you. So it says Pneuma assembly note, private group buy 2021. I think I actually paid for this in like over a year ago, and like I want to say it was August 2020, but anyway, 2021, 2020, whatever. Hi there. First of all, thank you for purchasing a Pneuma during the private group buy. Okay, it's been quite a ride for the wrong reasons, but I'm happy to finally be able to deliver the board to you. I hope you're happy with the end result, and I'm looking forward to seeing your final build results. Reason for including this note is to provide some extra information regarding the assembly of the stainless mid part. Due to the nature of stainless steel, there is some avoidable stress when there is still some unavoidable stress inside the material from machining. This stress makes the base mid-piece bend a little bit, as you will notice when disassembling the board. It doesn't pose an issue once the board is fully tightened up, the screws will straighten out the part, and it's not noticeable once it's assembled, but it's inconvenient enough to mention. That'll be why it took us a while to take it apart. To avoid unnecessary stress, the screws and threaded sockets are advised to apply pressure to the zone when assembling disassembling. The easiest way is to place the board in a towel, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so basically what we have to do is put the screws in this order when we put it together. We'll have to remember that. I usually do go diametrically opposed anyway, because from building engines, that's just the way I was taught to put screws in. So we should be okay. But yeah, we'll remember this when we get to that. We should have read this note before we disassemble it. It should be noted that this does require a bit of force to the part, and if you're feeling much resistance from the screws, you're not applying sufficient pressure to the base. Please don't try to over-tighten the screws since this damages the threads. Okay, so I have to apply pressure, but not apply pressure too much to the screws. Okay, let's come back to that. Let's come back to that. Pneuma, yeah. Pneuma, thank you, Russ. Yeah, thank you. Paper instructions. I know, right? It's cool, I guess. It's one of those things. I want a Regan desk mat. Send me something, Regan. If you've got some desk mats you want to send me, I'll take them off your hands. That's fine. Do I like Topra? Do you know what? I don't like Topra. I don't make any bones about it. I'm not a Topra fan. That being said, I am looking at building a Topra board just to say I've done it. But yeah, I'm not usually a Topra fan. How are the shrimp switches? We'll see when we've completed the build. We'll see when we've completed the build. Okay, so this is a wind keyless 60% in ISO with a 7U bottom row. So what do we need? We need a 7U spacebar stabilizer. We need our ISO enter stabilizer. And we need our full backspace. Everything else will be split, and let's hope the PCB supports it. Hi, my brother's here. Hey man, good to see you. Milk is here as well. ISO benefits less stabs. Extra key as well, which means that it's more ergonomic. It's more functional. More keys equals more better, right? I don't know. I feel like there could be an argument in there. ISO gang, yeah. SKCM Brown Alps, my favorite switch. By far, my favorite switch. Extra keybinds in games, right? Yeah, an extra key down here. Better for gaming, 100%, right? Like, if I have an extra key and my opponent doesn't, that means I win, right? Reasons to go ISO. There you go. Win at games. I'm not sure how I'm going to defend this, but let's go with it. Right. Let's get these stabilizers lubed up. So just using standard 205 grade 2 here for this, nice and thick. I don't see the point in spending on the XHT BDZ personally. This is nice and thick and it's good enough. Remember guys, don't put on too much here. It's always easy to add more lube later on than it is to remove it. So just take it steady. What's the extra key even used for? So on ISO, the key. So let's pause and let me show you. So on an ISO layout, you have the ISO enter key here. Now this is in Czechoslovakian layout. It's or Czech keycaps. But you would usually have instead of having your pipe key up here on ANSI, you'll have hash tilde here as an extra key. And then you have this would be your / pipe key. So on most ISO layouts, this would be / pipe. So you move pipe from up here down to there. But ISO and ANSI are just two ways of laying out the same different keys. So it's basically this area and that area, and it's basically just two different ways of laying it out. The main difference between ISO isn't this area in my head. The main difference before ISO is the fact that you have a split left shift. That's the big key difference for me. That's probably not a good example because it's not in UK layout, but you get the idea. In German DE ISO layout, that would be for the chevron key that you saw before. Same in Czech layout and a few others as well, but it really depends on which version of ISO you're using. Why is Y and Z switching? It's because it's not an English layout. It's Czechoslovakian layout. These are vintage Czech OG die subs made by Cherry. And yeah, it's from a Czechoslovakian board. So that's the reason, which uses a QWERTZ layout rather than a QWERTY layout. Yeah, I use ISO because ISO is from where I'm from. ISO is it's like a European thing, really. It's ISO. So yeah, that's why I use it. Being from the UK and all. Threx is here. Hey man, good evening. Okay, stabilizer one done. I wish they would choose a world standard layout. Like the whole point of custom keyboards is that it's custom, right? You can have whatever you want. That's literally the whole point of custom keyboards. I think if we all move to a single standard, then that's not going to suit everyone. So that kind of takes away the benefit of using a custom keyboard. I think, in my head, right? Let's have a custom keyboard, but let's all have the same. Yeah, VODs are available of all my streams. Do I have any workshop streams coming up? Yes, I have a few workshop streams coming up once we get things under control. So because of the sheer volume of orders we've had over the past month, I think we had like 2,000 orders in a day, which is nuts for like prototypers. That's kind of like a huge number of orders for a single day. We struggled to catch up with that, and then we've got the JO1s to ship, and then we've got the Auroras to ship. Once all of that's done, we've then got the new laser cutter coming, and at that point, that's when the workshop streams will start again. So they are going to happen. There's also some more stuff going to happen. Mel's going to feature in a couple more streams as well. Look out for that. We're actually going to start to do not a news show, but we're going to start to bring something a little bit different, a little more interesting to the hobby. When do the Ickies come in? I'm waiting on one. Hopefully this week. So I got confirmation they cleared customs here in the UK just on Saturday morning, which means that it's anywhere between 2 days and 2 weeks now for them to now arrive at the workshop. So the real answer to that is I don't know. It can be so variable that I can't give you a straight answer, but we're probably less than 2 weeks away from them arriving at the warehouse, and then we'll pack and ship them as quickly as we can after that, and then once that's done, we'll sell the extras. You can follow the updates on the website. If you just go to the website and click on updates at the top, all the latest info is posted on there every single day. So there you go. ISO boards are a pain to get just how you want, but much more satisfying when you have something you actually want rather than going the easy path. Yeah, I'd agree. I try not to go ANSI unless I have to. Like if the board only supports ANSI, then I will build it that way. But I do try to keep as much ISO as possible. Yeah, the banana splits from TKC. So what happened with those is they got shipped to me, and they got through to customs here in the UK, and there was an issue with the customs documentation. So when you ship business to business, you have to fill out a load of paperwork about the origin of the item, where it's come from, how much the contracts were for, how much it was charged, what the profit ratio is, all sorts of different stuff. And it seems like some of that paperwork was not completed correctly or was missing. And they reached out to the shipping company that TKC uses, but for whatever reason that information was never provided to the shipping company, so they got sent back, which means that they're going to get reshipped to me at some point soon, and then as soon as I get them, I'll ship them out, guys. But it's frustrating for me just as much as it is for you guys. It's difficult, and it's just one of those things, but we'll try and get there. Yeah, so I use this mouse on all of my setups. I've got a workshop setup in the workshop just through the other room, and I've also got a setup at home as well. I use the same mouse, not the physical same mouse, but the same actual mouse, MX Master 3, at all of my workstations. Right, okay, so we've now got our stabilizers done. Let's pop these in the board. I'm just going to slide these in. Oh, we are, if we can get them to fit. Use the MX Master 2. Yeah, the MX Master 2 is what I used to use before this one. Oh man, this is really tight. Hold on, I've got a little bit of lube in my fingers. Why does this not want to go in? Is this a stab issue, or is this the plate? Hold on, let's come back to that. Let's come back to that one. I'm not sure if this is a stab issue or a plate issue. Let's put the ISO one in. Sorry, a PCB issue or a stab issue. So that side's gone in. Okay, interesting. There we go. I never see you needing to balance stab wires. Is that you happen to get dead straight wires, or the lube covers it, or something else. So for all the stab wires that I get in, every time I get a packet of stabilizers, I have like a 3D printed jig that I put the stabilizers in, and it will line the wires up and bend them straight. If it doesn't, and then what I do is I just apply a little bit of heat using a hot air gun just to line it up nicely. So that happens to every single packet of stabs that I get, that I use personally before I actually open the stabs to build with them. So the wires should never be bent out of place because they've already been through the process to make sure they're straight. And if there's any that fail that process, they just get binned straight away. That's why I have packets that don't have some stabilizers in. So for example, I have another packet here, and it had the 6.25U wire taken out of it because it didn't pass. And of course, if it ever does sound bad, I'll just desolder it and rebuild it. But I think we have an issue here where this is on the PCB. The stab wire doesn't want to clip in. So this is actually the stabilizer housing. Just doesn't want to clip in could be the housing. Let's try putting it in this way. No, it's just not quite large enough, isn't the hole? Let's see if we can just round it out just a touch. Sell it millions right there. It's just a 3D printed getup. It's nothing special. Like, I wouldn't say it's anything special anyway. Yeah, okay, so this just does not want to go in. I'm going to try changing the housing, just see if it's the housing that's the issue. Let's build up another housing, see if we can get another housing in. I feel like I've played around with that one so much that I've bent it out of position now. Touch up the wire a touch here. Okay, let's try a different housing, see if this goes in. Okay, so it was definitely a housing issue, not necessarily the PCB. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to screw these in. Remember, guys, when you're screwing in stabilizers, you're not trying to kill the PCB, so don't go too tight. Just tighten them in nicely. If we all had the same layout, I wouldn't be able to use my 10U spacebar. That's true. That's true. Takes me ages balancing on my phone. How do you balance them on your phone? Is this a method that I'm not aware of? I just can't envisage how you balance wires. Are you just putting them against the glass and seeing if they're straight? Is that what you're doing? Raging Asian, hey man, congratulations on your P4 the other day. I didn't see the end, but I did catch quite a few of your laps. Yeah, just using the phone as a fast. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I get you now. I get you now. So basically, all my I'll try and show it on Instagram tomorrow. I'll do like a little story on it or something. But all my design does is like you can just put stabilizer wires of different lengths into it, and it's just a hole that you slot them through, and you can tell whether it's flush or not, and then you can heat them up, and you can use it to clamp them in place, so that when they cool, they're straight. It's that simple. What do I think of the drop OLKB plank mechanical keyboard kit V6? No idea, I've never built one. Never built one. I have one plank, and it's fine, but it's nothing like the new drop ones. It's one of the original ones, I think. Or it's quite old, I've had it quite a while. Okay, there we go. We've now got our stabilizers in the board. Now it's time to get the plate and put the switches in. Just gonna make sure everything lines up here. And okay, I go for a Kyria before playing. Kyrias are cool. I have one of those. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like the plate design is to Cherry specifications, not necessarily other stabilizer specifications. this to go around the stabilizer housings. There we go. It's really tight on the ISO enter. It's nipping the ISO enter stabilizer. I'm very tempted to just clip out these two columns here actually, just to loosen that up a little bit, because the last thing I want is it to bind the stabs. So basically it's this part here and this part here. This hole and this pocket, they're just slightly not wide enough to fit other stabs in. It should have been made like this one, I think, or these should be slightly wider. But again, this is just how the plate file is. Now, you shouldn't really do this with carbon fiber, so please forgive me, because it's carbon fiber and you don't want the dust anywhere near you. Don't repeat this at home, but I'm just going to clip these out. And that's just to make sure it's a little bit looser on the stabilizers. Because the last thing I want is the stabilizer to bind. Okay, just going to neaten this up a little bit and then I'll show you guys. So you can see there, we've just taken them out. It's relatively neat. There we go. Yeah, please don't do that at home, guys. Okay, and now that fits much better, so that just sits on nicely now. So there we go. Yeah, that's exactly what the issue is, yeah, but instead of like accepting for that and building your tolerances on the plate design for it, they haven't done that. Thank you, this is my first desk mat design, so thank you very much for that. Looks like it came like that. Yeah, right? Sure. Okay, right, so now we're ready to put switches in. Let's get some switches in. See if everything lines up. But yeah, please don't mess around with carbon fiber too much at home. It's the dust can be a carcinogen, so be very careful with it. If you're going to cut it, really you should be cutting it on a water table to make sure that you're not getting any dust in your lungs, a little bit like you would for some other materials. FR4 is the same as well, guys, so be careful with that too. I'm just going to drop in a few switches in a few different places, just to hold the board together more than anything, and then we'll start soldering once we've got all of the switches in place. There we go. Just making sure everything's aligned nicely. Okay, so we should be able to go in and put all the switches in place now. Asbestos plates when? I mean, you still can use asbestos for some things. Like, there are still some things manufactured from asbestos in the world today, so I think theoretically you could probably get the material. I would not advise using it though, like, I wouldn't at all. One of the big things when I'm restoring some of my classic cars is that the firewalls used to have asbestos on them. We have to get specialists in to remove it all, and then we replace it with like more modern materials, but yeah, it can be quite dangerous stuff. When I used to work for a financial institution in the UK, we used to do a lot of installation of hardware, and that used to go through areas of buildings that had asbestos in them. It was very, very expensive to remove. Very expensive. The keys, so all of the update, as soon as I get an update mythical, it's on the updates page. So if you go to the updates page on the website and you scroll down to keyboards updates page, go to the Notion there, search for the keyboard you're interested in. Whatever the latest information is on there, that's the latest information I have. I never have any new information, because the second I get the information, the first thing I do with it before acting on the information in any way, shape or form is update the updates. So the latest position is always on there. Always on there. Redeem Stretch, thank you Celestial. I'm really excited for Cloudline Big Repso. So yeah, I think we've increased my allotments for the UK from 20 to 25, I think. I'm hoping that we'll be able to do a few more than that through extras and things, so we'll see. But I do think it's going to go really quickly. Like, Cloudline's up here when it comes to TKLs for me. I'm really excited for it. Shini, Celestial Sour, Ivonacroft, Keepoi, Control Magic, Happy Whale Tag, Avoa. Thank you so much, guys, for the follows. I've missed all of those. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Posture check. Yeah, we're good on the posture. I'm all right on that one. But yeah, we'll have some water. Thank you. Right. Yeah. Is anyone else planning on going for the Cloudline? Like, all the vendors are getting really hyped up for it. It's going to be a really good, fun board, I think. I'm very excited to try and get one myself, because, like, I feel like if I just use the fact that I'm getting them as a vendor to get one for myself, I feel like that's cheating. So what I do is I load up the website on my phone, and the minute I click go live on the website, I'm like trying to hammer through to buy stuff just to make it fair. We're gonna go with stepped caps on. I remember we've got split left shift here as well, which this plate actually enforces, so I have to go with split left shift here, same as I have to go with split right shift as well. Cloudline looks nice, but I blew all my luck on Mr. Suit and Cypher last week. Oh man, Cypher's a great board though. I have one of the original prototypes somewhere. What's Cloudline? It's a high-end TKL that's coming soon. You can see it on Keycaps. If you just search for Cloudline on Keycaps, you'll find it. Okay. Now, remember, we are building this wind keyless, so we don't need to put keys on here and here. Geon boards, I have quite a few. Yeah, so we're actually going to work together to bring the frog for the next round to the UK, and the F2 as well, hopefully. Geon and I are working on that together at some point soon. So that's in the plan. We're going to try and get them in the UK for UK peeps. But in terms of, do I have any Geon Works boards? Yeah, I have a few. I've got one frog, and I think I've got 7 or 8 F1ATXs, I think, something like that. I don't know. There we go, guys. Switches are now all installed. That looks pretty good. Oh, we missed the spacebar. Look, there we go. Looks at my budget. Yeah, I don't have price costings yet for the Cloudline for the UK, but as soon as I do, we'll announce those and get them made public. Right, guys. Okay, now it comes time for that part of the stream where we're going to solder. So the next job is to solder all of these switches in place. Whilst I solder these switches in place, you guys can ask me any question you would like. So this is now free time to ask me any question. It can be keyboard related or any topic related whatsoever. You guys get to pick. All you need to do is tag me with @JPrototypist and ask any question you would like. It could be about math, science, history, philosophy, keyboards, cars, you name it. We will answer the questions, but only whilst we're soldering. One of the cool things I do like is the little cuts in the plate here allow you to read the Pneuma and buy stuff Walters. That's kind of cool. I like that, how that lines up. That's pretty cool. It's pretty slick. I like that. So yeah, so whilst we're soldering, guys, you can ask any question you like. As long as I can answer it in a Twitch safe manner, I will. If I can't answer it in a Twitch safe manner, I'll give you a roundabout answer to the question in the best way I can possible. So all you need to do is just tag me with @JPrototypist, and you can start getting your questions in. Whoops. Stay. You can start getting your questions in there. I'm just going to check for bent pins before I start soldering. I'm just going to go switch by switch, just make sure I haven't got any bent pins anywhere on the board, and then it's time to start soldering. And you guys can ask me any question you would like. Okay, it doesn't look like we've got any bent pins. Looks like we're good to start soldering. Here we go. It's amazing to have GM boards in the UK. Thanks, Jay. Yeah, it's not a done deal yet, but I'm trying my hardest. We'll do what we can do. We'll do what we can do. We are talking about it, and we're actively working on it. So it's going to happen, as far as I'm aware. I don't think the numbers will be huge, but we'll do what we can. Do you know what your listing price of the Jinko 65 will be? No, it's probably right. To get a rough idea, and it may be slightly more or slightly less than this, but if you take the US price, convert it into GBP, and then multiply it by 1.2, that should give you a kind of ballpark figure. It should be within 10% of that price, depending on exchange rates and Shopify fees and all sorts of other things. So the reason why you multiply it by 1.2 is because in the UK I have to charge you guys UK VAT. So that's a really, really rough guide. It's going to be slightly more than that, like 10% more, something like that, just because of the way that things work. But yeah, that's a rough way of working out roughly what the price should be for most things. The exceptions prices on stuff like that are things like DCS sets, because the US vendors can get them so much cheaper that the US price is actually significantly cheaper than the UK, because it just costs us a lot more to ship them over here. So US vendors can theoretically get paid like $2 a set to ship it over to them. For me, it costs like nearly $9 or $10 to ship a set over here, because manufacturer of Signature Plastics is in the US. So for most products, you can just convert it to GBP, multiply it by 1.2, and it's going to be broadly that price, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, just depending on exchange rates and a few other bits and pieces, Shopify fees, taxes, any other customs fees that we know we have to pay that aren't covered for other vendors, that kind of stuff. But it's a rough idea. What's my favorite switch of all time? I don't think I could answer that, Sharpie. The reason for that is because I use so many different switches that the answer to that will change weekly. I think if I had to answer it right now, I'd probably go for SKCM Brown Alps switches. That would probably be my guess right now. They're an Alps tactile, but they're incredible, especially when they're lubed just right. Take it to Cloudline when it's available on your store will be locked to the UK, Jay. Yeah, for the first 5 minutes it'll be locked to the UK. After that 5 minutes it'll be open worldwide. So if you want one, you need to be quick. I can't reserve them or anything else, but yeah, 5 minutes. What's your opinion on potatoes? Dude, that's such a good question. So my opinion on potatoes is that they're actually one of the reasons why humans are so successful. Now, let me break that down for you. Potatoes grow pretty much anywhere, in any culture, in any society, in any temperature. We have varieties that grow all over the world, hundreds of varieties. Varieties that are lost. You can grow them in a rainforest, you can grow them in Ireland, you can grow them in the Sahara Desert. Like, you can grow potatoes pretty much anywhere. Different shapes, sizes, varieties, you can get them to grow. They're solidly full of carbohydrates. Now, historically, the human body's used carbohydrates for one of its main fuels. That's why we like pasta and pizza and bread so much, because it's full of carbohydrates. We want those. So potatoes were actually the fuel for the nation, the fuel for certainly developing humans, and other kind of things like potatoes, like other kind of root vegetables like potatoes as well, kind of fall into this. But they're actually the reason why we're so successful, I think. The fact that we can use those tubers and potatoes and other kind of root vegetables to generate those carbohydrates and those dense energy stores. That's why we were so successful as a human race. And you've got to remember that it was potatoes and things like potatoes that basically fed everyone during the Industrial Revolution. When that was happening, people basically survived off potatoes. That's why the potato famine in Ireland hit so hard, because everyone was using them to fill out a stew or to fill out their meals, and to just basically give them full bellies. So potatoes, we owe a lot of our history to potatoes and other kind of root vegetables. That was probably more in depth than you were expecting. But you can do anything with them. You can chop them, boil them, fry them. You make chips with them. You can make a hot pot cover with them. You can do anything with potatoes. You can even use them as tools. Like, you can cut a design into them and use them as a stamp to make ink. I bet you did that when you were a kid. Cut a design into a potato and then stamp it in ink and or paint and put it on a piece of paper. Like, everyone does that as a child. Yeah, potatoes are really cool. They're really cool. That was probably more in depth than you were expecting. I'm sorry. These things happen sometimes. Do you recommend any mods to the Brown Alps Sprit Springs lube for plates? Yeah, with all that flex cuts. So I this is weird. I like steel plates for Alps because Alps work best on steel. They do work quite well on carbon fiber as well. You want a stiff plate, especially for a tactile Alp. You want a stiff plate, so no flex cuts if you can help it. You want quite a stiff, rigid plate. That's how they feel the best. I try to keep them as stock as possible, but I do lube them, and I lube them with PTFE powder. So you can get like a solution, bike chain solution that's basically PTFE powder suspended in alcohol. It's a dry lube, so you put it on, it's wet, and it's the only thing in bag lube. I take the sliders and the tactile rails out of the Alps, and I'll bob them all in a bag. I'll put a couple of squirts of this PTFE lube in there. I'll shake them around, and then I'll lay them out on a flat surface to dry. Once they're dry, the PTFE coats onto the surface, and I'll do 3 or 4 coats of that, and then I'll reassemble the switches. That's the way to do Brown Alps, in my opinion. Okay, next question. Thoughts on MX Brown? The MX Browns are okay. I built my Jane with MX Browns. I've got a TGR Jane. I built that with MX Browns. It's fine. They're okay switches. They're probably the least offending linear of all time, right? What size is that solar tip? This is the... Hold on. I'm not sure. It doesn't say on it. It's the only one that's not in use in this bag, I think. Oh wait, it's that one. This one is... It's a TS100 B2. It's a B2 soldering iron tip. There you go. There you go. Okay. Next question. Macanthrop says, should I put GMK Midnight Rainbow on my polycarbonate cyberboard when it comes, or save it for a black one when I get one? Use it, man. Get it on a board as soon as you get the board in. That's what I would do. Definitely use it as quick as you can. I have mine on my black JO2. It's just over the other side of my desk here. Storesman says Lodestone. Yeah, Lodestone, that's the thing. We've got fully working prototypes. We've had them for over a year. Just Flex and I haven't found the time to sit down and go through a few of the last design tweaks we want to do. There's a couple of little things that just niggle both of us that we want to address. We've just never found the time to do it. Maybe we'll get that done at some point. I don't know. The longer it goes on, I don't want people to live in false hope. Like, the board works, the idea works. We have working prototypes, and we just have a few niggles that we want to sort out, and we've never got around to doing it. It was always a passion project. It's never designed to be like a commercial endeavor. So we'll see. We'll get around to it at some point, I'm sure. Potatoes. Boil and mash and put them in a stew. Yeah. What a great answer. Egyptian King, was that to the potato question? Or was it something else? Potato battery. Yeah, right, dude. Like, you can do so much with a potato. Like, they're really cool. The real question is, how do you cook them? Roast potatoes. That's the best way to have them, in my head. Just came back and talking about potatoes and famine. How's the Pneuma so far? A couple of small issues. We had to... Oh, we've got a moth in, look. Let's get rid of the moth. Come on, moth. Off you go. Nope. Oh, moth. There we go. Murdered a moth on stream. Oh well. So we've got a few small issues. The case tolerances are really tight with the Cerakote being on there rather than it being anodized. I'm not sure if that's just part of how the design was, or if there's a wider issue with that. The only other issue we've had is the fact that the daughter board had to be trimmed to fit into the case, and then the plate was designed with cherry stabilizers in mind. I'm not using cherry stabilizers, so we had to trim the carbon fiber plate just to make sure that we could get the stabilizers through the plate when we're putting the switches in. And that's it. That's where we're up to. We're just about to finish soldering. There we go. Woody says EPBT thoughts. Yeah, EPBT is a great manufacturer. It's come on leaps and bounds in the past couple of years. It started off a few years ago as not being particularly amazing, but the quality that they're pumping out now is way better than anything they've done previously. I can see why a lot of designers are moving to EPBT. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Crispy roast, yeah, that's what you want. I'm planning to use MX Browns on the Tomo just based on the sound test for Jane in YouTube. I hope it sounds 10% like the Jane. I haven't tried a Tomo in hand personally. I know we sold it here on prototypes, but I haven't tried one personally, so I couldn't tell you. I do think it'll be really good. I think the board will be great. The one that Jae built was really cool. I don't know if it'll sound like a Jane. I think that's a really big ask of it, but I think it'll sound good either way. Thoughts on plateless? Yeah, kind of like plateless designs. I've got a few boards that are plateless. What have I got? IDB 60. I've got a TKL, the Jae AO6. I think they've changed the name of it now. I think it's called something different. Are they the only two? I think those are the only two I have that are plateless. Both I love the boards. Yeah. Triple cook chips, nice. Have to watch out for that when you build mine. Yeah, so we just had to trim the daughter board just to get it to fit. It was a really tight pocket there, so it's just a bit of a tight fit. Okay, next job now is to test that everything works. So let's take the case off. We're going to just hook up the PCB, and before we put the case together, we're just going to test this works. So I'm going to pop that there. I'm going to steal the USB cable from my numpad and pop it into the back of the board here. Yeah, I've got a G80. The original one was called the AO6 rather than the G80, but yeah, I do. Okay, so that looks like it's ready. Let's load up Via and take a look. Okay, it's not finding it in Via. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's use switch hitter instead. I thought it was Via compatible. Okay, can you guys see switch hitter? No. Why can't you see switch hitter? Okay, let me add switch hitter to this. Do. Okay. There we go. Let's use switch hitter very quickly. See if it works. Oh, well, we got a little bit of a short there. Let's see if it's because it's resting on the case. Yeah, okay, so it was resting on the case, so we've got a little bit of a short there. Backspace does work, but it comes out as the wrong key. There's a Via for JSON. Right, okay, cool. Yeah, okay. So there is a JSON file that we can apply to the board to get it to work in Via. So we'll do that later on. Okay, so everything looks like it's working. This should give us F keys. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So everything works. We know that the board is now fully working. There we go. All we need to do is just reprogram that at some point, and we'll get around to that later. Okay, it's in the pins. I'll look out for it later on, yeah. Any thoughts about the new tape mod since the Top Black episode about it? Sorry if you've already discussed it since then. No, so I have, Celestial, I have this plan to do, like, I get two Geonworks F1 ATEXs, build them identically with the same switches, and then have one that's stock and put tape on the other and try it out and just see how much of a difference it makes. It's a stream I have in mind. I just haven't got around to planning it out in any more great detail. I did buy like 10 different types of tape, so we can try loads of different types of tape, and then we can pit the two best ones against each other. So that will happen at some point. I just don't know when. Let's remove that cable for now. There we go. Okay, right. Now we've done that, the next thing to do is install the gaskets. And then once we've installed the gaskets, we can install the rubber feet, and then we'll be good to put the case together. Oh man, these gaskets are hard to take the tape off. There we go. go. How much did this board cost? I think it was like 500 euros, so about $700, something like that. I think that's the kind of price range it was. I'm going from memory here, so I could be remembering it slightly wrong, or I could be correct. I'm not sure, but I think it was about that. I know Enemy's friend who's in the chat has one. Perhaps he could take a look how much he paid for it. Yeah, the board's cancelled for the public group buy at the minute. I think it will happen, I just don't know when. I think Steph's gone back to the drawing board a little bit on it, so we'll see. You wouldn't mind a brass weight? I think it's nice with the stainless steel. We don't use enough stainless steel in the hobby. These gaskets don't want to come off this. It's like a sticky adhesive back. It just doesn't want to come off. There we go. I don't know if it fails more. I've made a lot of parts in stainless steel for different keyboards. I've only ever had like the same failure rate as I have for aluminium, so it is a little bit more expensive, but that's factored into the price anyway, so I'm not sure if that's the case, but okay, that's that side done. Now we've got to put the gaskets on the inside of the top case. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plug everything together here and get this all ready to lay in the case. If this cable would behave. I'm just going to lay this down into the channel that's provided. There we go. Copper patina looks good. I'm always a big fan of copper patina. Right, let's get the gaskets put into the top case. Oh, I have messed up on the gaskets actually. But that's fine. We can fix it. What would you say is your favourite 60% board today? I'd struggle to pick just one. I have quite a few 60s. I'd really struggle to pick just one 60. I think, I mean, of course I love the JO2 because that's my design, but I like the Prophet. The Prophet's really good. What else have I got? I do have a number 260. Oh wait, is it a number 160? I can't recall. Might be a number 160. The keycut boards are always really nice. I think I have a keycut behind me. Yeah, I got a keycut number 2 TKL just over there. Man, there's just so many good 60s out there. Like, it's impossible to name them all. I think the first good solid 60 I had was the E6V2. I don't know if you guys remember that group buy. I think it was a 2016 group buy, 2017 group buy, something like that. Have I tried the double stage spring switches yet? No, I have a load of them. I have quite a few packs of them in the workshop. I just haven't got around to using them yet. I will at some point. I will at some point. Well, there'll be the new group buy for the JO2 will start soon. So there'll be the JO2 Blackout Edition that starts soon. I don't have a date specifically, but it's not going to be too far away. And we'll also have some in-stock Eva edition ones as well pretty soon. So those have already gone out to the group buy. It's like a kind of like a semi-commission, and I had to buy some extra units to make it up to the MOQ that the guys wanted to meet for the price point. So I've got some extra Eva edition JO2s to sell at some point soon. Enemy's friend checks. It was £500 plus £150 for stainless plus 50 for Cerakote. So that's what, 500, 600, 700 euros for the board. I assume it's in euros, enemy's friend. Or is it dollars? Okay, there we go. Any plans on doing regularly stocked boards? Yeah, so the Iki Auroras are going to be regularly restocked. We're working with Gion to bring some of the Gion Works boards over as well. So Gion's boards should start to be stocked in the UK alongside other vendors at some point soon. It's not confirmed yet, but Gion and I have talked about it. Yeah, there's also some J series boards that I want to bring in stock as well. We're working on a couple of new designs for those that just started and kicked off this weekend. So yeah, we are trying to bring stuff in stock more often. Okay, so that's the top case on. So what I can do now is I can screw it together. And remember, this is where the instructions said we had to go ham, right? So let's go ham. We have to screw it together being diametrically opposed. Okay, so that's making no effort whatsoever. So we have to nip it tight. There we go. So that's screwed in there. Oh man, actually, can you see that? Can you see how much that's bowed? So if you look in this corner here, it's nice and tight and inside. But if you look up here, it is actually bowed significantly out of position. Like to there. It's really bent. Is this plate is bent like anything. Coming in stock for a limited time. I mean, that's the same with any stock, right? Like we can't keep stuff just in stock permanently, because then we'd just have stock forever, and that's not what any store really wants. Like, I can try and keep it in stock as much as possible, and we can re-get stock when things sell out, but like I don't think I'd want to be in a position where I always had 1,000 keyboards just sat in the workshop waiting to sell, because that's a lot of inventory sat there. And I'd rather do other things like bring new switches and stuff to the community with that kind of cash that's just sat there. Okay, so this one's not tightening up. We need to put more pressure on. Oh man. He said if it's not screwing together, put more pressure. I feel like I'm going to break the board. There we go. Okay, that's screwed in. Man alive. I don't like the fact that I have to screw this so firmly together. That feels like I'm damaging something. Like, how hard do I have to press this? This is kind of low-key nuts that I have to put this kind of force into it. There we go. Yes, this was 700 euros. Yeah, that's... I'd forgotten it was so much, to be honest with you. I had completely forgotten it was so much. Oh man, this is taking so much pressure to put together. That screw is just not going to go in. Like, I feel like I'm going to damage the board. Like, this can't be doing... Like, the gaskets must be overly compressed at this point. There we go, that's it, that's it. It's got... There we go, there we go. Whew. Do you think it's worth getting into Alps? I love Alps. Like, I genuinely do. I think they're great switches. Okay. That took a lot of pressure. That actually physically hurt my hand. Wow. Okay, so now it's time to put the bottom case in place. Just going to put this into position. Then we have the 2 screws for this. I don't know. I think it's a tolerance issue. If I'm completely honest, Anarchy. I think it's like a tolerance thing. Like the screws might need to be a bit longer, maybe. But perhaps because like you don't want to over compress gaskets. Like you want to give them some compression, but you don't want to over compress them. I feel like to get this to screw together, I've had to really tighten those gaskets together. Like more than was reasonably expected, or more than would be reasonably expected, sorry. Okay, time to install the strip feet. This would be much nicer if these were injection molded. I appreciate it's only a prototype, but like stripped gaskets, stripped rubber for the feet, it just feels a little bit disingenuous on this build. Is the bottom flat now? Yeah, the bottom's flat. Once I'd screwed those screws in, it did pull everything flat, but it was a bit of a workout to do it. Feels like it's just a touch too long. Okay. Well, the adhesive on this rubber foot isn't great either because it's peeling off very easily, but it feels like it's just a little bit too long as well. Okay. There we go. There we go. Board's built. It's a chunker. It does look good though. I've got to be honest, this color is amazing. Like this color is so good. Okay, one thing I'm not a fan of actually is how you see the stainless steel through here. It just feels a little bit unfinished maybe. I feel like that should be the same color inside. I get why it's different because it's a different piece of material, but yeah, I feel like I wouldn't want to see the silver here. The color's lovely. Right. Now it's time to do a little bit of a vote, and you guys get to pick some keycaps for this board. So let me set that up. So you guys are going to have a choice of a few different sets. You're going to have GMK Skydolch. You're going to have GMK Olivia. You're going to have GMK Shoko. You're going to have a GMK Dual Shot. And you're also going to have DCS Nightfall. So So I'm going to set that poll going. While that poll's going, I'm going to show you guys the keycaps that you can pick for this, and then all you need to do is just click in the vote. The first one is GMK Sky Dolch, teals and greys, basically Dolch with teal. The second choice is GMK Olivia. We all know and love this set. Third choice today is going to be a GMK Shoko, which should match the purple pretty nicely. Crushed Orchid. Finally, we have GMK Jewel Shot. That's it for your GMK set. And then the final non-GMK set is a DCS Nightfall. So there you go, guys. Those are your choices. Please do vote in the poll. Jewel Shot is winning by a healthy margin right now, so if you guys want to see any of those other key sets, you guys need to vote pretty quickly. While I'm doing that, let's just catch up. Raidstream says, are you seeing a shift towards having more stock because of COVID? I've noticed, like, in your everyday stores. So I more through the fact that the business is growing, we have more stock these days than the fact that we're actually aiming to have more stock. We're just buying more and more products, not necessarily greater quantities or more often, just more different products. That tends to be where we're going. We talked about the long screws. I remember when first hearing about gasket mounting, coming from an engineering background, it confused the hell out of me. That's why often people said it was for flex bouncy. Yeah, so in my head, in my engineering head, gasket is a seal, right? Not something to create a bouncy thing. It's kind of a weird naming for it. I don't agree with calling it gasket mount solution personally, but that's just the nomenclature that the hobby has decided it is. It's fine. It is what it is. These are shrimp switches, yes. Endo Functo Zero. They are shrimp switches, yes. Silent tactiles, yeah. I actually like the accent there, but I have to say it looks better with the Robin's Egg Blue than with the Crushed Orchid. The Crushed Orchid is a great colour, I just don't like the stainless steel through there. Jay, does your plate move inside the case like we saw on the other Pneumas from the private run? Maybe not, since you tightened the screws pretty tight. I had to tighten the screws pretty tight to get it. The plate does not move at all. Oh no, it does move. It does move. Oh shit, let me show you. Look, see if you can, if you watch here. Can you see that? It's moving inside the case. Can you see that? Oh gosh, it does. It moves. Look, it moves. It does move. I suspect that that's to do with the slow return. Oh my god! Wait, what's causing that? Look at this! Look at this! Wow! Wow! Okay. Yikes! Interesting. We'll find out how much of an issue that is when we get keycaps on it in a second. I didn't think it was going to move. I thought that was rock solid, but no, someone called it out. They were absolutely right. Original Pixel Ninja, you were spot on. There is an issue with that. Don't let Simon get his hands on it. I haven't seen Simon's streams for ages. No standoffs? No standoffs. You think it's because it evolved from O-ring? Yeah, O-rings are gaskets, or traditionally used for gaskets, and that's probably where it came from in keyboards, but they're not actually used as a gasket in a keyboard. They're used as a mounting method. So it's a little bit different. Okay, Dual Shot is still winning, guys. If you want to beat Dual Shot, you're going to need to do something special, because it's about a minute left and it's stealing away with 41% of the votes. Nightfall is coming in a hot second, though. Good to see some DCS up there at 29%, followed by GMK Shoko. Nobody wants to see GMK Olivia, and no one wants to see, well, one person wants to see GMK Olivia, and one person wants to see GMK Sky Dolch. So in effect, nobody wants to see either of those two sets today. Let's see if we can beat Dual Shot, if Dual Shot's going to make it. There's about a minute left, guys. Yeah, there's no alignment aids. I think the issue for me here with this movement is going to be because it seems to want to jump from one position to the next. Like, there's no tolerance to get it in between that. Is that going to hit the keycaps, or am I going to have to try and slide it gently, like to partially in between? Like how do I stop it going from this all the way over to the right and this all the way over to the left? How do I get it just in between that? I'm not quite sure how I balance that. GMK Shoko made it. Oh my god, whoa. Someone's dropped some big bucks on getting Shoko and Nightfall up there, guys. Nightfall is now in the lead. 5 seconds left. DCS Nightfall has won. So Shoko didn't quite make it, but someone dropped some big contributions there. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Let's get the replay. So Nick contributed 3,000 channel points, and JQ27 contributed 300 bits to get DCS Nightfall up there. Someone was trying hard for GMK Shoko as well. Let's see if I can get the vote breakdown. Yeah, so what happened with Shoko? Yeah, so Nick, Drunk Barista, and Akshadev, they all tried to get GMK Shoko up there, but JQ27 with the bits managed to get DCS Nightfall over the line. Wow. So there we go, guys. You can vote with your wallets. DCS wins. Right, DCS Nightfall it is. First stream that we've not used GMK in a long time. Right. DCS is way underutilized in this hobby, and of course you have the magnificent 10 new space bars as well. Here's me hoping that this has compatibility for this board. Should have checked that before I gave it as an option, right? Okay, let's go with the X and enter. That's not catching. Okay. 1mm thickness not fun. No, you guys are missing out on what the joys of DCS are if you think it's all about the thickness. It's not. It's about it being something of its own. It's independence. DCS is cool, man. And it's way underutilized in this hobby. Like, way underutilized. I am a little bit worried that I don't have the compatibility for this, though. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. Okay. It's just nice to see it for changing once while on the same GMK. You got most of the ISO, should be home free now. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. We'll see. I think this actually has UK ISO in it. I think it has UK ISO. I might be wrong, but I could be right. I could be right, guys. I could be right. This could have UK ISO in there. I'll have to wait and see. It's a long time since I've used DCS as well. This is a nice change. It's making a nice change. Yeah, look, see, this is what let's finish the board. Let's finish the build and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Okay. Do you like cat? I do like cat, yeah. That follows UK ISO. I have the set. Yeah, I sold the set, Derek. I should know these things. I thought it did have UK ISO. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you. Okay. Wait. What? We've messed this up. We've messed this up. Yeah, that's right. Oops. Key on the floor. We'll get that later. Slowly getting there. Slowly. Shouldn't take much longer for us to finish this up, guys. Oh, we do need the FN key. It goes there. Okay. I can't remember even what the last DCS I used was. Probably DCS Twilight. If you guys remember that set, DCS Twilight, that's probably the last one I used. In fact, I just realised we've used the wrong key here as well. Let's see if we've got a key switch puller. You got Cat Crusader? Nice. Cat Crusader's cool set. Solarized Dark is really cool. Yeah. It's a good colorway. I do have GMK Solarized Dark somewhere. Whoops. Okay. Slightly concerned that we haven't found all the keys that we need here. And we've only got a few left to go. Okay, there we go. And then we need the 7U spacebar, which I believe is this one. Yeah. No worries, man. I just thought you were expressing your thoughts on it. Are you guessing the SA Polyclear transparent SA set? Probably not. No, probably not. DCS is woefully underused, though. I think we need to see more DCS. That 10U spacebar, guys. Look, maybe I should have built this with a 10U spacebar and just had the whole spacebar take up that space there, right? Just have a huge spacebar on it. Have a control key and an alt key, and control here, alt there, and then just one big spacebar between the two wing keyless blockers. I mean, they're made from the same plastic, JQ. This is ABS plastic as well. Unfortunately, it needs an 8U stab wire, and this PCB doesn't support an 8U wire. Yeah. Oh man, I have no idea about the deepest switch profile. Like, all these terms that people use, it's really hard to judge, and it really depends. Sound is so much more than just a switch. It's like everything. It's like the whole setup. So it's difficult to say. Right. Let me show you what my issue now is with the build. So you guys can see that there's quite a large gap here. You can see behind the keycaps, but it means that the keys here are actually rubbing on the case. So now what we need to try and do is we need to try and move it all backwards a little bit without actually hitting the back. Okay, so I think we've actually done it there. I think we've done it. And now we need to move it that way without hitting the sides again. Okay. So I think we're good there. We've got the panel gaps in the right places. Okay. There's a little bit of movement. Like, it's difficult to show you, but there is a little bit of movement from the gaskets. Not much, like maybe a millimeter or so. Half a millimeter. Maybe half a millimeter movement, something like that. Interesting. Should we see what the board sounds like? I know that this is going to be like silent switches, so it's not going to be much of a sound test. But like, I've got to be honest, the board does look good. Like, even with the keycaps, I think it works. I think my biggest gripes with this, honestly, the biggest gripes. I appreciate that it's a prototype, so I've got a few gripes. Let's list them. Firstly, the plate, the actual carbon fiber plate, that needs adjusting tolerances for bigger stabilizers, because most people use Duroc or C3 stabilizers. That's going to need to be adjusted for this. And I don't know if the ANSI one was the same. I only have the ISO one, so that's the first thing that needs adjusting. The second thing that needs adjusting is the pocket where the daughter board slots in. That needs to be made bigger because the tolerances on daughter boards are going to change depending on the manufacturer of the PCBs, and they're always going to be slightly out. I don't think people should have to trim their daughter boards to get them to fit into place. I think that's the second thing. The third thing, I think that the way that the board screws together, the stainless steel, the fact that I had to put, when I was putting the screws on, the fact that I had to put so much pressure on to get the screws in place, not a fan of that. I think that needs to be revised, maybe longer screws like Anarchy said, or through some other methodology that needs to be rectified. And finally, my last gripe is these feet. These are not staying stuck on, and they're also just die cut from just sheet material, like a sheet of rubber, probably some sort of silicone blend. I think something that was injection molded would be much nicer, and I think just doing like 4 little corner feet is much nicer. I don't like these big long strips. I think it just detracts from the look of the board. So those are the negatives. Positives before we type on it. I think the design looks really cool. I think the color is amazing. I think the design is really nice. I do kind of like his little logo here, and I think the machining is fantastic. Most of the machining on this is spot on. It's absolutely superb. The color and the Cerakote finish is really, really nice, and this is my second Salvan Cerakoted board, and it's a huge improvement on the first. The final gripe I have is the fact that you can't align the plate very easily. You have to adjust it slightly, and it just wants to pop from side to side like I showed you. So to get it just right took a little bit of effort, and for a newbie doing that, I don't think it's fair. 10U support would be nice, but I'm not going to force it on the guy. But other than that, I think the board looks great. Like, the board looks great. Final thing, I'm not kind of sure that I like the fact that you can see the silver stainless steel behind where the USB is. I think that should be all one color. I'd probably just change the USB port so it was slightly different and it didn't have that contrast to it. But that's just a personal minor thing. Other things I like the bezels on the board. I like that the front and rear are wider than the sides. That just visually appeases me. I really, really like it. I like the roundings of the corners, but I wish it was carried more into the roundings of the wing keyless blockers. I know most people aren't going to like that, but I think these are a little bit too square considering the rounded edges of the rest of the board. And I'd be interested to see if we had this chamfer done so it was less of a chamfer. I think that more rounded rather than having a chamfered edge would be nicer as well. But again, that's just personal preference. So there we go. Yeah, if the base was black, it'd be okay. Seeing that USB port, if the base was black, that would be alright. I'd be comfortable with it, but I'd rather have it board colored, I think. I mean, I think this is actually like 3mm or maybe even 4. That's kind of like a big chunk there. But I'd like to see it rounded over. Just have it as a rounded over edge. I think that'd be nice. You know, rounded over, just like this corner is here. Just rounded over here, like this is rounded here. Just have that here. I think that'd be nice. Good guys picking on the keycap set. I think the keycap set works well. I thought that the cyan, the teal, the robin's egg color wouldn't work with the board, but it really does work with the purple quite well. This is DCS Nightfall. I think it works really, really well. Okay, so it's a silent board, so it's not really going to have much of a sound test, but we'll give it a try anyway. Let's see what it sounds like. These are shrimp switches, unlubed, completely stock, DCS Nightfall on the Pneuma. It's silent. It's silent. It's a silent keyboard, guys. That's actually pretty nice, to be honest. That's actually pretty nice. The switches feel great, though, actually. This is the first time I've used these switches. They actually feel really good. Like, they're tactile, which I don't usually like these days, but they feel really good. Like, they're not a heavy tactile. It's kind of like a mid-tactility. Probably slightly stronger than a Cerulean, but nowhere near like the Anubis switches or a Holy Panda in tactility. It's just a good old, nice tactility. This is nice. But yeah, no sound because it's a silent keyboard, so you probably can't hear anything. Oh well. We try and do things as best we can, but occasionally we have to use silent switches. So big thumbs up for the silent switches. Big thumbs up for the look of this board. Big thumbs up for getting to see DCS on a board again. I think this looks great. Like, this looks fantastic, right? It looks stunning. This color by Salvan is amazing. I want to send him some other projects to have them coated in this color. Huge fan. I'd say few improvements: make the pocket bigger for the daughter board, change the plate design so that it accommodates all the different stabs. There's something needs to be done about the movement of the plate because it does move side to side, as I showed you guys. That needs to be fixed as well. Other than that, I think the board's pretty good. Is it worth 700 euros? Like, man, I don't know, man. Like, that's a lot of money for a keyboard like this. I mean, it's a hefty, chunky board because it's made of stainless steel. I think I have some. Wait, where did my scales go? I did have some scales to hand, but I feel like I've lost them. Where did the scales go? Ah, there they are. Here are the scales. Let's give it a weigh and see how much it comes out as on the scales. But I think it's pretty chunky for its size. There we go. So let's see in pounds and ounces. This comes to £5, 10 ounces. For those of you in the good areas of the world, that is 2.5 kilograms, 2.55 kilograms. So it's just over 2.5 kilograms heavy. So it's a pretty chunky board for the weight. Like, it's pretty chunky. That's a good hefty keyboard, right? Yeah, this was 700 euros for this board. 700 euros. Do I have Hyperfuse? I do have Hyperfuse. Yeah, I have most of the variants of Hyperfuse. I don't have my Keycult number 160 to hand to weigh it. In fact, I don't. The only other 60 I have to hand is the JO2, which I can show you. So this is my personal JO2. That was 2.55. That was heavier than this. This should be around 2.4. Yeah, so this is 2.4 kilograms. So it's a little bit heavier than a JO2, which has a lot of brass in it. So there you go. That's how much it weighs. JO2 is also a big chunk. Yeah, well, yeah, JO2 on Pneuma, right? There you go. JO2. This is actually a prototype unit, so it's not a fully finished one. Or Pneuma. Yeah, JO2 is a bit bigger because it's got the forehead and it's got the pen rail in there, yeah. In fact, wait, is this a prototype? Yeah, it's a prototype. There we go. How much was JO2 in group buy? I didn't sell it, so the vendors did. I think that this version, I think it was $500 or just under $500. So yeah, about this was about 2/3 the price of this. So this is about a third more expensive, give or take. It's hard to make comparisons because they were made at different times and blah blah blah, but that's roughly what it was. But yeah, I'm happy with the board though. It's nice. So it was called Pen Island? No, sorry, I'm not going to fall for that one. Yeah, I can't remember what it was in euros. I think it was about 450 euros. A little bit more if you added some of the options. Is JO2 Blackout going to be limited? Yeah, 200 units. 200 units. I mean, without the brass, it would have been 550. You mean the stainless steel? Yeah, if it hadn't been stainless steel and it had been aluminium, yeah, it would have been lighter than the JO2 then, though. Yeah. Yeah. But that'd be like saying, well, if we had the JO2 without brass, right? It's like, Blackout will be wing keyless only, yeah. So Blackout is basically going to be this, but wing keyless, and the pen rail is going to be shiny black, and the mid piece will be shiny black. There you go. That's what Blackout's going to be. We should be announcing dates and prices for that relatively soon. I want to hope that by the end of this month I've got the dates and prices announced for that. So I'm just chasing down the final few quotes for it, and then we'll have some pricing, and JO2 Blackout Edition will happen soon.com. So there we go. Kuja says, this is the board the PLX keeps getting compared to. I don't know the PLX, but if you have a link, you can share that and I'll take a look. But yeah, wing keyless only for the Blackout. Okay guys, so I think that's it for the stream. Now it's time to find someone to raid. Hey, thanks very much for joining the stream. We're just literally about to finish up now. We're going to find someone to raid. If you guys have any suggestions on who you'd like to see us raid, let me know. Let's see who is live. Oh, Hippio's live. Let's raid Hippio. His set, Infinity Delight, is in its last day today, guys. If you're interested in that, you can go buy it. But let's go raid Hippio. I'm gonna check him a follow first of all, and then we're gonna go raid Hippio. So wish him all the best on his keycap set, Infinity Delight. Let's do that. Let's just wish him all of the best. Thank you so much for guys for being here. I appreciate every last one of you, but please let's go raid Hippio. Tell him that we love him. Tell him we love his key set and we hope he does really well. Thank you very much for being here again. I hope you liked the Pneuma build, and I'll see you again in a week or so's time. Thanks very much, guys. Bye bye.
It's on Apple Music. It's on everything. If you enjoy it, please share it. I would genuinely appreciate it.